So again, shout out to Evan Spiegel. I don't understand how you can be 30 years old and able to run a company so successfully. Like, goddamn, it makes me feel like a failure. So again, good job, Evan. Shout out to you, man. Welcome to No Bull with Zaid, a new unfiltered business show airing on Bullish. If you want to see more, subscribe, like, and comment below. Let's start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's had one hell of a month, hitting $13,000, levels that we haven't seen since late 2017. Now, while we're not quite at peak Bitcoin prices of $20,000 that we saw back in 2017, we are getting closer and closer. And Bitcoin prices have seen a gradual increase since the crash of 2018. And this time it's not crypto bro infused rallies that we were seeing in the past. It's just been a gradual rise. And as more time goes on, more and more legitimate financial institutions are backing Bitcoin. Just this past week, PayPal has allowed for the buying and selling of Bitcoin on their platform. Now that's a big deal because PayPal is massive with over 200 million customers. They're one of the most legit financial tech companies in the world. So the fact that they're allowing the buying and selling of Bitcoin plus other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum is a big deal for crypto. That's one of the reasons why Bitcoin prices have rallied over the past week or so. On top of that, we had Square, which is the owner of Cash App, make a $50 million investment in Bitcoin. Like, these guys straight up bought $50 million worth of Bitcoin for approximately $10,000 a coin. So these guys are bullish on Bitcoin themselves. Even banks are getting behind Bitcoin. JP Morgan is saying that they are bullish on Bitcoin. That's crazy to think about because just 3 years ago, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, was calling Bitcoin a fraud and threatening to fire anyone that was gonna trade Bitcoin at JP Morgan. And now that same bank is saying they are bullish on Bitcoin because they consider it to be the gold for millennials. That's a huge reversal in just a short amount of time. And to me, this is just a start. As more and more legit financial institutions start backing Bitcoin, it's gonna increase the demand, and it's gonna continue to increase the prices. Now, I've always been a fan of Bitcoin, and I've been caught up in all the hype from 3 years ago, and I've still held till this day. To me, this is just the start. As more and more financial institutions start backing Bitcoin, the price is gonna increase, the demand's gonna increase, and it's gonna become more legitimate. And as the more legitimate it becomes, the more likely it is to be desired by other people. It's just a snowball effect. I legitimately think that cryptocurrencies are gonna have a huge impact on the financial sectors of every single country in the world. Now, if you ever considered getting into Bitcoin, remember to use smart risk management. But once you buy, just sit back and enjoy the meme. Don't worry about the prices too much, because if we know anything about crypto, you know that shit's gonna roller coaster every day. So if you can't handle the roller coaster, well, you might not wanna buy a ticket. I haven't seen this much excitement for Bitcoin since 2017, and some people are saying that the price of Bitcoin will hit 20,000, maybe even 100,000 in a couple years. Again, I don't like to get caught up in price predictions because no one knows what the fuck is gonna happen, but I do know that once more and more people get involved and start supporting Bitcoin, it's gonna continue to snowball and become a bigger deal. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about Snapchat, because back in 2017, they also had something going for them, but it wasn't the same as Bitcoin. See, back in March 2017, Snapchat IPO, they listed their stock on the stock market, and ever since then, they've had a rough going. Their stock price never really shot up from their IPO price. Actually, they would just go down from their IPO price and would continue to stay below their IPO price for years. And I can totally see why. They had their best feature, the stories, stolen, straight up fucking stolen by Facebook and added to every single Facebook app you can think about. They have stories on Instagram, they have stories on Facebook, they have stories on Messenger, they have fucking stories on everything. And this feature was thought up by Snapchat, made famous by Snapchat, and that feature just got taken. And Facebook did a really good job implementing this feature into Instagram. It was an instant hit. So once that happened, everyone thought that Snapchat was dead. Myself included. I thought that they weren't gonna be able to recover from this. Why would someone use Snapchat when I can just use Instagram for stories? Well, see, Snapchat didn't let that go down. Shout out to Evan Spiegel, the CEO of Snapchat. Not only is this guy 30 years old and a billionaire and married to Miranda Kerr, this guy is actually legitimately a really good CEO and a genius. He didn't let the tumble in stock prices get him down. He guided Snapchat through tumultuous times, and today Snapchat is a leading company in AR, augmented reality, and Snapchat has basically turned into the go-to messaging app for Gen Z. Snapchat's innovation in augmented reality is truly remarkable. Their augmented reality lenses and filters are amazing and have been a big hit to their users. On top of that, they're also investing in original programming to compete with TikTok. Their Snapchat Discover feature has over 100 million viewers. So Snapchat's really coming into their own. They're developing state-of-the-art augmented reality features and they're investing in content. If they continue investing in these two areas, I have a feeling that they're gonna continue to grow, continue to add users, and differentiate themselves from other social media platforms. So again, shout out to Evan Spiegel. I don't understand how you can be 30 years old and able to run a company so successfully. Like, goddamn, it makes me feel like a failure. So again, good job, Evan. Shout out to you, man. Finally, let's talk about Dunkin, one of the few companies that has succeeded during the pandemic. And now you wouldn't expect a coffee company to succeed during a pandemic when the entire economy was shut down, but Dunkin was one of the few exceptions to actually do really well. And it probably has to do with the fact that they invested heavily into their digital infrastructure. And because Dunkin's done so well, they're in talks of being bought out by Inspire, a company that owns other restaurants like Buffalo Wild Wings, Arby's, Jimmy John's, just to name a few. So why has Dunkin done so well during the pandemic? Because of the early investments in the digital infrastructure, they made it really easy for customers to order online and do curbside pickup or pick up through drive-thru. While other fast food companies were scrambling to figure out how to serve customers during a worldwide lockdown, Dunkin had it all figured out and they were ready to execute. That allowed them to increase sales in a time where other coffee shops were closing down because, especially local coffee shops that don't have the sophistication of a company like Dunkin. So they were able to take a lot of those sales. Their stock is trading at near all-time highs, and after this news, it jumped another 10%. What Inspire's business plan is to buy restaurants with good brands, improve their efficiencies, improve their digital infrastructure, make it run more efficient to increase profits. They've done it with Arby's, they've done it with Jimmy John's, they've done it with Buffalo Wild Wings, among other brands. And Dunkin might be the perfect company to invest in because number one, they have a good brand. They've done a really good job partnering with influencers like the most famous teenager in the world, Charli D'Amelio. That's resulted in them increasing sales. And they already have a pretty decent digital infrastructure. So by Inspire coming in, can just make tweaks here and there to further increase the efficiency and improve the profitability of these Dunkin locations. It could be a pretty easy and fast turnaround to Inspire to get their money's worth pretty quickly. And with these portfolio of companies, Inspire is likely gonna go public soon. But again, it's always good to have well-run, highly profitable companies in your portfolio before you go public, and Dunkin makes a lot of sense. One of the things I do wonder though is once lockdown eases and we kind of return to some sort of normalcy and local coffee shops start popping back up, is it gonna actually hurt Dunkin's sales? Because right now we have very few choices. If your local coffee shop is closed, you're gonna go to Dunkin. But once your local coffee shop opens up, are you gonna go back to Dunkin? That's something that no one really knows, but Inspire seems to think that they can solidify Dunkin's opportunity that they have basically taken advantage of during the pandemic. They can take advantage of that, continue to build that brand, continue to solidify the lead that they've gotten, and basically make Dunkin a household name all across the country. That's all we got for this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, leave me a comment below for any future topics you want me to cover. I love hearing feedback from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. See you guys in the next video.